me, officer. Remember me? Yeah, well, you want to watch it, right? Because I was there. I know what really happened.
So why haven't I got the lab results? No, I've been through. Yes, I'll hold.
Good morning, all.
Excuse me, please.
Oh, look. The other brother Grimm.
Did you say something?
Fairy stories, that's what you and your mate are telling. Bloody fairy stories.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that then, won't we, eh? Les, have a word. I say Cooper's fan club are out in force.
Yeah, lippy bunch. You been in court before?
No.
Are we in court one?
Not as bad as it's cracked on
Look,
to
I
me.
said are we in court one?
Yes. Sit down, for God's sake, George, will you? Come on, cheer up. It's all in a good cause.
Oh, yeah?
Look, Cooper's rubbish. The dregs. He's got form, he's due for a stretch. If he gets one, it's got to be good. He's a sort of bloke.
Look, we got time for a quick word then. I
Look,
just want to check.
hang on. Sort of bloke, every time he opens his mouth, lies come flopping out. You know what I mean? Not him. This bloke, Cooper. What are you here for?
Mike Dashwood's theft.
You mean CID actually caught someone?
PC Loxton. I've had a quick chat with Defence Counsel. They want to go for a bind-over.
No way. It's a straight unlawful and malicious wounding.
That's what I said. Have to protect our boys in blue and all that.
Well, tell them where to stick it.
Fine. So long as we're agreed we want to continue. See you in there.
Bind over. Cheeky git.
Yeah, well, let's hope we can get him, eh?
Oh, we will, George.
Only gone on holiday. A long weekend, would you believe?
Sorry.
And all he sent us? A WPC still wet behind the ears and half the flaming paper's missing.
Look, sorry, what was your name again?
Tamsin.
Tamsin, yeah. Look, Tamsin, there's no need to get nervous. All you got to do is
I
stand
know.
up...
Answer the questions in a loud, clear voice. If you don't understand something, say so.
Don't lose your temper. Stand up straight. Smile nicely at the judge. Yeah, they'll love it. Mind you, you got to be careful about your reputation. It's all too easy to get one in this job. You got a boyfriend?
Colin Edward Cooper. You stand charged on an indictment which contains one count. In that count, you are charged that on the 10th day of September 1989, Linden Road, London E2, you did unlawfully and maliciously wound Stephen Loxton, contrary to Section 20, Offences Against the Persons Act 1861. To that count, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
Linden Road. Opposite the post office. You know.
Well, I'm not
Well, anyway, that's where it was, right? In the car park at the back, this baby. I mean, what would you have done?
Well,
It's cooking in there, roasting, windows are shut, full in the sun.
Well, I'd have looked for his mum.
It wasn't Mum, it was Dad in the pub with another woman. And here he is, all over her. She looked like a tart, really. So I go in and I say...
Excuse me a minute, love. Steve, can we just check through our notes?
Hey?
Check our notes?
We've done that.
Yeah, I know, but I just want to go over it again, OK?
Well, go on, then.
Right. I went into the rear of the pub where I saw the defendant brandishing a steak knife and threatening Constable Loxton. Oi, was that right or what?
Your notes, pal.
Tamsin, could I have a word?
Yeah, but
Did
what
you
time
know
did I get
Sergeant
there?
Willis was going on holiday?
13:10, Constable.
No, hold on, 13:10, yeah?
I mean, no one knows
I mean,
where
how
he
did I
is.
get there so quick?
Not even a leaf.
If the shout was
No
left for
person
13:08
suggests
and I
he
was
would
in
stay
Down
there.
Park, there's no way I could have got there.
Does anyone know where the man went?
Well, it was only a long weekend.
What is the point of the senior crimes officer taking lifts from the shoe prints if Sergeant Willis then goes and loses the shoes? And the lab report, and then doesn't even turn up here on the day, These are vital pieces of evidence, and he is a vital witness. How's this been allowed to happen?
You were in Linden Road. Stop making problems, will you? No one's going to ask you where you were, are they?
Oh, Constable Loxton.
I swear by Almighty God, the evidence I shall give will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Police Constable Stephen Loxton, 363, Sunhill Police Station.
Constable Loxton, did you have occasion to go to the Swan Public House, Linden Road, on September the 10th, 1989?
Is he giving you a bit of bother? Old Flash Harry?
No.
Well, just you stand up to him. It's not your fault he's lost his vital piece of evidence.
I then said, give me the car keys and I will fetch the child to you. Cooper said, get stuffed, Your Honour.
And then what happened?
The barmaid came in with steak and chips. Mr. Cooper and Mrs. Riley sat down at a table. I again asked for the keys. Mr. Cooper lost his temper and threw a bar stool at me.
Carry on.
I ducked and hit a mirror, which shattered.
And I think at this point you told him he was under arrest and radioed for assistance.
Yes.
And what happened while you were waiting for this assistance to arrive?
He ran off, sir. I gave chase and cornered him in the dustbin area at the back of the pub. I then saw that he had a knife in his hand.
And how was he holding this knife?
He was pointing it at me, threatening me with it.
You're lying! You're bleeding well lying!
It's obvious. Look at him. Can't you see? He's a lying pig.
He's bloody lying!
Mr. Cooper, I must ask you to restrain yourself. You do your case no good whatsoever with uncontrolled outbursts of that sort. And if members of the public cannot keep quiet, they will not be allowed to remain in my court. I think we may as well now adjourn for lunch. We will resume at 2 o'clock.
Report for the Rouse.
By the time the defence counsel finished with him, he didn't know what day it was. Defendant walked, and 2 weeks later he handed his papers in. Never wanted to go into court again.
Excuse me.
But Mike,
Yeah?
do you have to?
Do I have to what?
You went into the pub and looked inside the 2 public bars, and then you entered the saloon bar and saw the defendant with a woman. What exactly was he doing when you went in, by the way?
He was kissing her.
And did you think this woman was probably his wife?
No, I thought she definitely wasn't his wife.
I see. So when you saw him in the situation you've just described, knowing full well that his young child was shut up in a car, in the car park, in the heat, with no windows open, crying, what on earth did you think of him?
I thought he was pathetic, sir.
Pathetic.
Well, he's got to be, hasn't he? Treat a kid like that. I mean, a man like that isn't fit to be a father, in my opinion.
Let us turn now to the matter of the knife. Now, the police doctor said that you had a gash which required 2 stitches. You have told the court this was caused by Cooper stabbing at you with his steak knife after you had both run outside.
Yes.
Although, as the surgeon agreed, the gash could have been caused by a splinter of glass. And presumably there was a lot of glass lying about after the mirror was broken, yes?
Yes, but that's not how my hand got cut.
You're sure about that, Constable Loxton?
Yes, sir.
Let me just read you the doctor's report on Mr. Cooper's injuries when he arrived at the police station. A cut lip, a black eye, bruising and swelling on the left cheek, bruising to the chest, lacerations and swelling on the left upper thigh, the right shin. Mr. Cooper didn't come off awfully well in the yard, did he?
He was resisting arrest, sir. He had a knife.
And these injuries were merely the result of using the minimum force necessary to disarm him, yes?
Yes.
Can you describe how you disarmed him?
Well, I locked his arms behind his back, sir. Forced the knife out of his grasp.
And then you sort of frog-marched him back inside
Yes.
to await police backup.
Yes.
So the knife was left outside on the ground, and you picked it up later.
I'm not sure.
But you just told us you used a great deal of force on the defendant to get the knife off him, and then you took him back inside. You agree you said that?
Yes.
So, the knife must have been left outside on the ground unless you picked it up, which would have been difficult if you were restraining Mr. Cooper.
Yes.
So which was it? Did you leave the knife outside on the ground, or did you pick it up?
I think I must have left it outside.
You all right?
Yeah.
He didn't mean to scare you by what he said before, I mean. It's just talk.
Yeah, I know.
You'll be fine. No worries.
Constable Garfield?
Looks like your number's up.
Yeah,
Good luck.
thank you. I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth. George Garfield, Police Constable 218, Sunhill Police Station.
Now then, Constable Garfield. On September the 10th of this year, you were, I believe, on patrol in a police panda and received a request for assistance over your radio. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
Would you like to refresh your memory from your notes, Constable?
Thank you, Your Honour. I went to the Swan Public House in Linden Road. Upon my arrival, I went to the rear of the pub, where I saw the defendant brandishing a steak knife and threatening Constable Loxton. He was shouting, "I'm going to kill you, you filth."
Carry on.
As PC Loxton was attempting to control Mr. Cooper, I disarmed him.
You took the knife from him.
Yes, sir.
The knife, or a knife identical to the one that has already been identified.
Yes, sir.
So this knife was in the defendant's hand when you entered the yard?
Yes, sir, it was.
Those are all the questions I have for you. Would you please wait there?
Constable Garfield, you say that when you arrived at the Swan Public House, you simply took the knife from the accused?
Yes, sir.
Without any violence or struggle?
Well, PC Loxton had restrained him by then, sir.
Indeed, he had. In fact, we're told Mr. Cooper's injuries are consistent with kicking a man in the legs, punching him about the face and the body. However, in spite of all that, Mr. Cooper, who is a small man, an asthmatic man, grimly held on to the knife until you arrived. Yes?
Yes.
Of course, PC Loxton, in his evidence, has told us that, in fact, Mr. Cooper dropped the knife during the scuffle in the yard. What have you got to say about that, Constable Garfield?
Yeah, well, that is possible, sir.
Yes, but you can't say two things at once, Constable. Are you saying that PC Loxton disarmed Mr. Cooper in the yard, or that you took the knife away from him?
Constable Loxton disarmed him, Your Honour.
So, the version you gave us a minute ago was untrue.
I remembered what happened now. I was confused.
Constable, if you'll forgive me for saying so, none of this makes any sense. Indeed, the jury must be wondering, was there in fact a knife involved at all?
Yeah, well, of course there was.
Are you sure? I mean, you and PC Loxton have told us very different stories about it.
I've told you, I was a bit confused.
Confused, perhaps, because you were lying? Because you couldn't remember the story you and Constable Loxton concocted together?
No, sir.
I put it to you, officer, that there was no knife and no assault by my client, and that later you and your colleague concocted the knife story in order to charge my client with a serious offence.
No, sir.
That is all the questions I have for the witness. And how long have you been married?
8 years, sir.
And you have 3 children?
Yes, sir. And they mean the world to me. And my wife.
And for the past 6 years, you've been unemployed?
Yes, sir. Because of the asthma, sir.
And does your wife work?
Yes, she's a cleaner for British Rail, sir.
So I dare say you look after the children quite a bit while your wife's at work?
That's correct, my lord.
And tell me about Mrs. Riley. Who is she?
She's the wife's sister-in-law, my lord.
You don't need to call your barrister my lord.
Thank you, sir. She was going to look after the boy for the afternoon while I went up to the hospital. But there wasn't any funny business like what he said. I wasn't kissing her or anything. She's a relation. And I'd only been there 15 minutes, so I don't know where he gets an hour from.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Just answer the questions.
Yeah, but he lost his rancher. He went bananas. There I was, sitting there, minding my own business, then all of a sudden he's in front of me screaming and shouting, and now he's trying to say it was all me.
Mr. Cooper.
Exhibit A, found in a cupboard in the custody area, would you believe? Didn't you see him in there? Brian. Yeah. Yes, thanks, mate. 5 hours late, but what the hell? Yeah. No, don't open them.
I picked up the bar stool to shove him off, but he grabs it and chucks it at me. I ducked, hit the mirror, there was glass everywhere, and then he came at me again, and he put his hand onto the bar, onto a bit of glass, and cut himself.
I see. And then?
Well, I ran away, sir. I was dead scared.
Where did you run to?
At the back, sir. But he caught me up. Gave me a dusting. Knocked me to the ground. Was kicking me. He was punching me in the head. And all the time he was saying...
Yes.
He was saying, Your Lordship, that he was going to get me in the balls, so I couldn't be a father again. And that knife. If that knife's got his blood in it, it's because he put it there himself. Because I never had that knife in my hand.
Cooper.
I never saw it till I got to the police station. He stitched me up, he has.
That's right, Colin. You tell them. Don't let them get away with it.
Usher, please remove the lady from the court. She has been warned. Mr. Cooper, may I remind you once again, if you cannot control yourself whilst giving evidence, I shall have to caution you for contempt of court.
It's all lies. I don't understand what's going on. I don't. I should be in there. Someone should be telling them.
Well, that's that up the creek.
Yeah, I know. They stand there, wigs and gowns, posh voices and all that. They do it every day. They're bound to be able to run rings around us.
Not if you're telling the truth, they couldn't.
Right. While the jury has its little think, I think I'll go and chat to the lovely Tamsin. Hope you noticed the cool way I got in there dinner time, by the way. Well, the old pizza, maybe the old chat. What's the matter, out my way?
No.
Hey?
I want to know what's going on first.
You what?
That day we nicked Cooper.
Yeah?
We went back and we checked through our notes, yeah?
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember quite where I'd seen the knife.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely saw it. You showed me all the blood on it and all of that. But everything was a bit muddled. And I couldn't remember exactly where the knife had been when I first came in.
Yeah.
So I asked you. And you told me the knife had been in his hand.
I didn't tell you, I reminded you.
Okay. So I thought, right, well, that's where it was then.
Yeah.
So that is what I wrote down.
George, what is your problem?
Problem? I'll tell you what the problem is, pal. When you was in that box, that's not exactly what you said, is it?
I got confused for a moment, then I remembered.
Oh, yeah, sure, that's just great. So your evidence makes me look like a complete prat.
Look, what is all this? Just leave it out, will ya?
Wait.
Look, you're like a gnat buzzing round my ear, all you are.
Look, I just want to get this straight. Now, you said that I saw the knife in his hand. That's what I thought I remembered. But now I'm not so sure. I mean, I don't see how it could have been. For all I know, Steve, you might be fitting him up. You might have knocked him about just a bit too much and then planted the knife on him to cover yourself, just like the man said. And if that's what you've done... Yeah, if. Right. Then it's not right.
Oh, dear.
Look, there's right and there's wrong, OK? And in my book, fitting somebody up is wrong, right?
Shall I tell you something? Shall I tell you what happens to coppers who don't stick by their mates?
I'm not
Very
saying
soon
that.
they find they don't have any mates, that's what. And what is the one thing a copper needs above everything else? Even above a clean
I'm
nose?
not saying...
His mates! Else, who's going to come to his rescue in a tight corner? Who's going to back him up? No one. And a copper with no backup. You know what he is?
Look,
dead meat!
Look! I'm not saying I'm not sticking by you, because I am. But if you're not 100% sure about that knife...
That is enough, George!
That is enough. OK. Fine.
All parties in the case of Crown versus Cooper, please return to court number 1.
No, I'm sorry, Steve. I'm not interested. I mean, for all I know, he might be innocent.
Cooper's previous. Shoplifting, burglary, breaking and entering. 2 kids in care. Innocent he. See you, Georgie girl.
I've spent hours on this case. Days. Paperwork, interviews. And is it all worth it, I ask myself. He's stolen hundreds of pounds from that fruit machine, and he'll probably be found not guilty. Why are we bothering?
The trial's been adjourned. We've got to come back next week. Hey, you all right?
Yeah, sorry.
Case over?
No. Steve's still in there. I was only staying out of interest. But I've lost it.
Lost?
Interest.
On the one count of this indictment, which charges the defendant with an assault occasioning grievous bodily harm, have you reached a verdict upon which you are all agreed?
Yes.
And do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Is this the verdict?
Well done, Carl. Well done.
Yes.
Well done, son.
I'm going back to the office and going through these files with a fine-tooth comb. I'm going to find those missing reports, and I'm going to ring Sergeant Willis. Oh, if you're looking for your mate, he's gone off with our little WPC. All right for some, isn't it? I don't care if he's in Timbuktu. He's going to be in this court on Monday morning, 10 o'clock sharp. We're going to win this case, Les, if it bloody kills me. And don't forget those trainers.
Sophie? Still on for tonight?
Yeah, can't get there to 8:15.
Okay, I'll book the table for 8:30.
Okay, see you. Don't bring the brigadier.
You'll be hearing from me, Loxton.
Be my guest. Fill your boots, son.
All right, Robin.
Yeah, George.
You wouldn't like to go out for something to eat, would you?
Well,
Only haven't eaten since breakfast. I'm starving.
yeah, all right, then that'll be great. Didn't you have a pizza with Steve?
Sorry?
Oh, nothing. Come on.